Portuguese capital Lisbon lies on the western Iberia Peninsula, where the Tagus River meets the Atlantic Ocean. Settled almost 3,000 years ago, the city predates Rome, Paris, and London by centuries and possesses an epic narrative to match. From its early days as a Phoenician outpost to its expansion into a 16th century trading giant, from the Great Earthquake of 1755 to its glorious reconstruction, Lisbon has long been a city of shifting fortunes. For much of the 20th century, the city floundered, but the winds of fate have again shifted in Lisbon's favor. No longer a place of faded glory, 21st century Lisbon is again a place of possibilities. This is a city whose journey has forever been tied to the sea. So it's not surprising that many of her most important landmarks can be found along the waterfront. Rising from the banks of the Tagus River, the fortified elegance of the Torre de Belém stands as a reminder of Portuguese prestige and power in days of old. Just upriver rises the Monument of the Discoveries, which celebrates the nation's most revered seafarers, such as Prince Henry the Navigator, Vasco da Gama, and Ferdinand Magellan. Climb to the rooftop and look down upon the Mapa Mundi below, which charts the routes and discoveries of Portugal's intrepid mariners. Nearby, continue your voyage into Lisbon's seafaring past at the Jerónimos Monastery. Vasco da Gama spent his last night in prayer on this site before departing on his epic voyage to the Orient in 1497. The vast monastery that stands today was funded by the incredible wealth that the Gama's spice route brought to the city. This vast monastery complex is also home to the city's Maritime Museum, which preserves relics from Portugal's golden age of sail. In the early 1800s, Portugal's rulers forced the resident monks to vacate their beloved monastery. Destitute, the monks sold a prized possession, their secret egg tart recipe. 5 generations later, the neighboring Belém patisserie serves over 20,000 pastéis de nata to sweet-toothed devotees each day. And the recipe remains a guarded secret to this day. Once you've stocked up to the world's finest pastel de nata, set sail to the newest horizon in creativity at the Museum of Art, Architecture and Technology. Further upriver, the Portuguese love of the sea continues at the city's acclaimed Oceanário, where hundreds of species glide by in a celebration of a global ocean. From here, climb aboard a cable car and glide upriver again for bird's-eye views of the city and the 11-mile-long Ponte Vasco da Gama, the longest bridge in Europe. The waterfront is also where you'll find the city's grand gateway, Praça do Comércio. This great square in the center of the Baixa district was once the home of the royal palace, until 1755, when a natural disaster changed Lisbon and Europe forever. At the Lisbon Story Center, feel the devastating tremors of that 6-minute earthquake and the terror of the tsunami and 5-day firestorm that followed. The earthquake obliterated 85% of the city. But with calamity came opportunity. Within a year, the rebuilding of Lisbon was well underway. Wide avenues replaced the medieval rabbit warrens of old, and a new style of elegant, earthquake-resistant architecture was born, Pombalin. The earthquake also shook the city free from the religious dogma of old, and from its cracks came the fresh new shoots of the Enlightenment. Pass beneath the triumphal arch, crowned with a figure of glory, valor, and genius, a tribute to the city's swift reconstruction. Then, simply drift down Rua Augusta and into another of Lisbon's great squares, de Rossio. If Praça do Comércio is the city's gateway, de Rossio is its heart. Since the Middle Ages, Lisbon's citizens have gathered here for pool fighting and celebrations. Today, it's the perfect place to relax by the cool of its fountains and on the waves of its patterned pavement. Lisbon belongs to that club of great cities, which are defined by 7 hills. So, wherever you roam, eventually you will find yourself going up to take in the views. Luckily, Lisboetas have come up with some innovative solutions to save their legs on hot summer days. From the lower town, ride the Elevador de Santa Justa to the Bairro Alto district. Here, you will find the Convento do Carmo, whose unrestored arches bear testament to the devastation which befell the city in 1755. Climb aboard Tram 28, which passes some of the city's most iconic sites. Then, from Portas do Sol, make the climb to Castle of St. George. From high on the battlements of this 11th century Moorish citadel, the red-tiled roofs of Lisbon spread out before you, stepping down to the lower town and the blue Tagus beyond. You'll find trams rattling all over Lisbon, but the most beloved of all is Glória, which runs between the lower town and Miradouro de São Pedro de Alcântara, the perfect place to watch the city light up with someone special. Although the great earthquake reduced much of Lisbon to rubble and ash, the ancient suburb of Alfama was spared. Lose yourself amid the ancient cobblestones and steps, where cafes, bars, and artisan shops have taken residence in the dock workers' homes of old. Yet, the area still retains its village atmosphere, especially during the midsummer festivals, when over 50 street parties pop up all over the city. The Alfama is home to the Romanesque towers of Lisbon's cathedral, whose walls date back to the Second Crusade, when the city was liberated from the Moors. If the stones of Alfama could sing, then surely it would be the bittersweet lament of the Fado. At the Fado Museum, discover the traditional song of Portugal, which originated in the bars and laneways of the Alfama. Then, as the sun gets low, join locals in a Fado bar and listen as professional and up-and-coming fadistas sing the heart-rending stories of the working class and the sea. Lisbon's walls may not sing, but the tiles which adorn them possess a music of their own. First introduced by the Arabs, over the centuries, the Portuguese have made the art of azulejo their own. Housed in a former convent, the National Azulejo Museum celebrates the evolution of Portugal's tilecraft across the centuries, from the biblical tales of old to the new frontiers of tile design. You'll find azulejo at every turn in Lisbon, from the practical to the purely decorative. But to see the Sistine Chapel of tiles, head to the city's north, to Fronteira Palace. Just to the east, at the Calouste Gulbenkian Museum, you'll find another of the world's great collections. The museum's 6,000 art treasures represent a lifetime of acquisitions by the oil magnate Gulbenkian. Lisbon's love of creativity isn't just confined to her galleries. You'll find it amid urban renewal projects like the LX Factory, which has breathed new life into the city's fabric factories, which fell silent long ago. You'll find creativity on the communal tables of the Mercado da Ribeira, where some of the city's most innovative chefs and brewers reinterpret age-old traditions. Lisbon has always been a city of discovery, so when you're ready to explore a little further afield, you'll find no end of adventure. Less than 20 miles west of the city is Cascais, an ancient fishing village that was woken from its slumber when Lisbon's nobility discovered its golden bays in the late 1800s. Another playground for Portugal's monarchs was Sintra, the home of the Summer Palace. A half-hour drive to the northwest of Lisbon, Sintra is more than a weekend destination. It's a journey into a fairy tale. Hans Christian Andersen fell under Sintra's spell, returning time and time again, calling it the most beautiful place in Portugal. From Sintra, it's just a short drive to the incredible coastline of the Sintra-Cascais Natural Park. Spend a few days exploring some of Europe's most beautiful beaches, such as Praia das Maçãs, named after the apples which floated downriver from the nearby orchards and washed up upon its sands. From here, venture southward and explore the remote beaches of Adraga and Ursa, where the Atlantic waves have carved a dramatic coastline straight from Homer's Odyssey. At Cape Roca, stand upon the cliff top, which until the 14th century was considered the end of the world. Here, on the westernmost point in mainland Europe, 400 feet above the pounding Atlantic, it's easy to understand how Lisbon's seafarers were drawn to see what lay over those far horizons. Yet, no matter what wonders they saw, what riches they found, they always yearned to return to their city, Lisbon, the Queen of the Sea.
I'm just really driven by my passion to rewrite the township narrative, you know, just create these beautiful spaces where we can live and be proud of. I started cleaning sneakers in the backyard. At that time, sneaker cleaning wasn't done professionally. There was no blueprint. And because we were based in the township, I always have doors closed on me. I don't take it with my heart because for me what's important is creating doors. How do I create opportunities for myself and for others? COVID-19 affected everything in my life. Lockdown announced, close shop, no income, nothing, you know. The anxiety started kicking in. I said to my team, guys, no one is coming to save us. We need to really find ways to move within this. And that's how I started my other businesses. I started Look Fresh, I started Live Fresh. When I pivoted, it wasn't because I planned. It was really, how do I then maneuver? How do I move out of this and make sure that I survive and I still put food on the table for my team? I really think it's important to keep moving. I don't think any opportunity should find you waiting. So opening doors for me was really like creating opportunities. If you ever needed someone, it's right now, you know, so we need to really open doors for each other so that we survive this.
I love to see how the next generation of designers is inspired by Gianni and mine archives. I think that keeping the legacy of Versace ongoing is part of my job, and the new generation of designers are the ones who are going to keep the legacy going. We gave a team to Parsons School students, and each one interpreted a Versace outfit from the 90s, or one of my time, or anything from Versace in their own way. I'm very excited about you in this project, Versace. I want you to feel free to interpret the archive the way you see it today, you know? Modern life. I think all the future. Anyway, for me it's a pleasure to be involved. And I can't wait. Thank you. Bye-bye.
She's exerting such strong presence.
So much power.
Yeah, so much power.
I feel powerful right now just because I saw her.
One of the things that I noticed and made me so happy was the excitement of each designer of the look we were given and the way they interpreted it.
And I was thinking Versace is always about hedonism and the sense of a desire.
I decided to ask myself what sexy means today.
When the body moves, the drapes actually creates emotion.
It was a lot of fun experimenting.
The collection that I was signed was Spring/Summer '92. It was amazing because I'm a person that loves proportions and huge volumes.
And I was thinking about moving this kind of showing the body, bring to menswear.
It's all about kind of having fun and kind of being able to laugh at yourself. Essentially, I started with the two dresses that create these pieces that kind of capture your attention in this kind of fun and very Versace way. I mean, essentially, it's a love letter to Donatella.
And so I like the combination of sort of these more ancient, traditional techniques of the wet molding and these more modern, technological techniques that have developed in recent decades, like the 3D modeling and 3D printing.
I wanted to really pick up both on that idea of the slashing and on the sort of playful punk, the kind of pop punk, and bring out those. So looking at polystyrene, you're saying for X-ray specs, and this kind of joyful, more sort of vinyl clad.
So I decided to kind of make a collage that reminds us a bit of Andy Warhol's Campbell's soup cans.
Well, hopefully I'd like her to wear it.
I think one of the challenges for me was like taking someone else's codes, so like the House of Versace, and kind of having to see it through your own world. And I think we all did a really good job with that.
Huge challenge, like from the get-go, was just the pressure and sort of like the daunting reality of getting to work with a house like Versace.
I didn't expect to see something similar to what me or Gianni did in the past. I expect to see something that reminds me of the future of fashion. And this is what we did, exactly. I knew you were going to give me something I never saw before, and this is exactly what happened. Guarda, questo sono io. Really good. Oh my God.
Hi, everyone.
I love it. That is difficult, to translate in a modern way, and you did it. I love the contrast between the top and the bottom. Contemporary, this is not couture. I like the contrast very, very much. Oh, this is amazing.
I loved it. And so I decided to look into the goddess of war, Athena, as my inspiration, as my muse.
I love the touch of contemporary you put in this. I transform Athena in a modern woman today.
Yes,
it's fabulous.
I want something that's very sexy but have a twist, have fun with it.
It's a lot, but it's put in a way that not every little thing.
Thank you. Grazie. I think my inspiration is pretty obvious.
You know what? I think you got passionate with fun.
Yes.
When fun and passion, that's not good passion.
That's right, you inspire me.
If you take it too seriously, it's not good passion.
Go with a sense of humor.
Yeah, sense of humor is the thing also.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. I know you did an amazing job. Congratulations. Hope to see you soon again.
Yes.
I found the result of the project really, really fun, really, really extreme, which something I really was looking for, and then really, really Versace.
3, 1, 2, 3.
Versace!
I felt at home right away in Cape Town. There's a really open quality in people who live by the ocean. The people here have a real sense of fun, of relaxation, lightness of touch. Everywhere you look, there's real style and originality, and I think it's hard not to get caught up in it. It's got amazing food, incredible aromas and color, all the things that make life rich. But I keep getting drawn back to the mountain. It's a unique and incredible thing to have a mountain like that right in the center of a city. I mean, up there you can really feel the vibrancy of this city and its people. I find it so inspiring.
December 2nd, 1954.
Traitors are not gentlemen, my good friends. They don't understand being treated like that.
In Washington, the U.S. Senate takes the rare step of condemning one of its own, Joseph McCarthy, Republican of Wisconsin. McCarthy is censured for bringing the Senate into disrepute after his anti-communist crusade and its tactics come under fire. 1942. At the University of Chicago, scientists demonstrate the world's first artificially created self-sustaining nuclear chain reaction. Their work is part of the Manhattan Project, the top-secret American-led effort to develop nuclear weapons during World War II. 2001. One-time energy giant Enron files for Chapter 11 protection in one of the largest corporate bankruptcies in U.S. history. 1993. In Colombia, Pablo Escobar, one of the world's most notorious drug lords, is shot to death by security forces in Medellin. And 1982. In Salt Lake City, Barney Clark receives a permanent artificial heart in the first operation of its kind. Dr. Robert Jarvik is the inventor of the device implanted into Clark's chest.
I don't think I could have expected it to go better. I certainly could have and did have fears that it could have gone much, much worse.
Clark lives 112 days with the artificial heart after the operation at the University of Utah Medical Center. Today in history, December 2nd, Ed Donahue, The Associated Press.
Welcome back in our studio, and in today's news,